Seems like a bummer topic to shift to, but basically, my topic was with the world as it is today. You can insert a graphic of, I don't know, a world on fire, maybe. Where do you ever miss the feeling of being surprised? And I guess the origin point that I have for that, not that I want to keep going back to the pandy, but I remember when pandemic came on, that it was like disbelief day after day, where I was just like, I can't believe this is what's happening. I can't believe, like you read the news, you're seeing where it's happening around the world. It was like the last time I think I would felt really surprised by something where my idea of the way things were was so challenged that since that point, I feel like anything that comes up, and there's a lot of bad shit stuff that happens day after day, I don't feel the same sense of surprise. Like, it's not that I could have predicted it. I'm no like bad news Nostradamus, but I just don't feel like that same sense of like disbelief, and that's
something so horrible would have to happen now for you to be surprised.
Yeah. And it might be environmental. Like my wife is chronically addicted to TikTok. So when we're going to sleep at night, she'll basically like nudge me as I'm just about to fall asleep, and she'll give me like a real rundown. And it'll be like, I'll just be about to sleep. And she's like, hey, do you want to hear about a kid that died today? And I'm like, not particularly, no, actually. So I think it's maybe just that it's been a bit of just an onslaught of things that have happened in the world over the last few years. And I feel personally, as someone who is not deeply sad, who is still fairly happy. And maybe it's just because I haven't been crushed by losing money on magic cards or pogs yet. But I just kind of miss that feeling. I feel nostalgic for that feeling. And I wondered if I was alone or if anyone else has kind of found that as well.
I have a question first, which is, and not to put you on the spot, but can you remember another event before COVID that had a similar thing where you were like, oh, that was surprising? Or like, yeah, I don't know. Is there anything that comes to mind?
9/11, I guess, would be a pretty touchstone one. I mean, it was the day I lost my virginity, but that aside, it wasn't the virginity loss that was
before or after. Was it
in between the two towers?
During, actually.
Oh yeah,
it was very early.
A third plane has hit us.
I came upstairs.
This sounds weird, but. Your virginity is on my mind so often. I'm not even joking, because you told me that story back in the HMV days, and I honestly, it somehow comes into my mind like once every 3 months because I found it so funny.
Hey, never forget.
Wait, that's a real story? I thought you were just making a joke.
No, that's a real story.
Wow.
My ex will text me on the day, every year, just saying like happy anniversary. So it's
I thoroughly remember where I was, and I think you had Mr. Hallows as a teacher at one point, didn't you, Cooper?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
in high school. He saluted during it. Oh, it was one of the strangest things I ever saw, and it was like we were such young kids in grade 10 then. I'm like, this is what high school is like. It was a wild time. Surprising for sure.
When I was thinking of this topic, I was really only thinking of like, I do feel like I have like many, I don't know if I would call it surprise, but like I'm constantly impressed with developments that are happening within the tech space. And even if I don't like it, just like I am surprised and impressed at like, wow, we can do that now, or oh, that's happening now, or that thing that seemed sci-fi is happening now. So they're kind of mini ones that I'm not truly caught off guard. Like just the other day, and I was going to make this a topic actually, but you guys are familiar with Brian Johnson, the guy trying to live forever?
So using like his children's stem cells or whatever.
Yeah, kissing his father, and so I got an because I'm subscribed to his like Blueprint website somehow, and I got an email like 2 days ago where he has capsules like vitamins that you can just all you take is 2 a day, and that's all you need. That's your calories, that's your food, that's everything. And I remember saying when I was a kid, like, oh man, I wish I didn't have to eat. I wish I could just take pills like the Jetsons, because I was never a big foodie guy. And I was like, I would just take the pills and it would be, free me up. It would probably save money. It would be easier. Now, at my age now, I have become a foodie guy, and I don't know if I would want to give up eating food, because I find it to be such a great experience. But that is an example of me being like, wow, like, here we are, like, in my lifetime, we have the Jetsons like capsule pill thing. But yeah, I don't know if it counts as these little mini things like with AI and self-driving cars and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of neat. It keeps me on my toes, but I don't think I've had I would probably agree that like COVID was the last time I was truly like taken aback by like, oh man, like this is a huge shift that I didn't see coming, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of it feels like the reason behind it is kind of a saddening, because it's probably because we're so plugged in and so connected that our brains are just bombarded with negative news, because that's typically what we're served in the news of any kind. And so it's hard to like, the only way to really be affected by it is for something to be truly devastating. And I mean, I think that's, I think governments are using that against us, and individuals are using that against us. And I think it is kind of it also, I feel like it makes life pass faster, because we're not constantly being surprised. So we have no like exclamation points on our days. Everything just sort of like bleeds together as like in a general malaise. And time like this year, for example, I can't believe it's August already. Like, and I know that's like kind of cliche to say. Everyone's like, "Whoa, time goes fast," but like, it truly feels like this year was a blink. Like, just there's been so many awful things happening in the world, and it's just sort of, you kind of either have to be like a bleeding heart all the time and be kind of depressed all the time, or you try and tune it out. But either way, you're just living in this sort of it feels like you're living in this weird like fast forward motion, where it's just nothing ever changes, because it's always at the same intensity, and it's a really bad intensity for a lot of people. It's just like this really high bar that never really goes up or down. There's always enough bad to keep it up, and there's never enough like good to kind of break through, to breach that barrier. It seems, I think you can find it. You can find good, but it takes more effort than it does to find the bad, because the bad is just always given to us easily through social media or whatever, right? So
you really have to completely disconnect to avoid it, and that's
yeah, and really like kind of seek it out, which is possible. Which is probably why things like when I found Magic the Gathering, I was like, oh wow, what a pure thing that you can't destroy. But it's like, even then you're like, there's so many shady things going on with the company that runs it or whatever, right? So
then you get the Gaza card. You're like, okay.
God damn it.
Yeah. So it's I totally I was, when I originally read that question, I was originally thinking what happened in my head. I was saying, I was thinking more about things that I look forward to, or I would normally look forward to. The kind of the gratification I would get from seeing them is ruined, because we have so much. There's like spoilers and people leaking things all the time. So I immediately thought of like movies or games or whatever. The things that the entertainment things I'm into are almost never satisfying, because I know everything by the time they actually release. I already know my opinion on something I haven't seen or played before it even happens. That's
100%.
brutal.
Yeah.
What a brutal way to live, right? So, and I
How
find
can
that
you even fight against that? It feels
like
it's already coded into us at a certain level.
Yeah. For movies, I found that I just stop watching trailers, stop reading articles about them, and all of a sudden I go to a movie completely just based on like the title and maybe a vague idea of what it's about,
Yeah.
and I end up enjoying it way more than I would have if I kind of obsessively, stalked information about it. But it's hard to do that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
hard to avoid.
That's why we're all getting flip phones.
Yeah.
I've highly considered that. Grimpen, anything come to mind for that topic?
It's really similar to that, but I have just come to dread surprise in any way in my life as well. It's like if my wife threw me a surprise birthday party, I literally would pass out, I think, from just the awful surprise of it. I would have a heart attack. I'm just not built for surprises anymore.
Heart attack, the OG surprise.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think you vaguely know it's coming if it's coming.
There's maybe some inciting incidents that get to it.
Yeah. I'm sure it's coming for me, so it's fine.
So you said you're the last of your kind, Grimpen. So you married a human woman?
Oh yeah, that's true. I've really screwed my lifeline in that way. But I'm made of science, so if I need to procreate, I can make that out of science as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll just go that way. I don't know what happens if I were to have a child with a human woman.
Let's find out live on the podcast.
All right, stay tuned.
I was kind of while everyone was talking about this, I was sort of thinking about what would I consider to be like a COVID level type surprise or curveball. And for me, lately, I kind of feel like there's a push for a unifying of the world. I don't mean that in a peace way. I mean that it just seems like there's a lot of different components, whether it's like, I don't know, financial crypto stuff or like AI stuff or politics. There seems to be this push for like a one, some kind of one takeover kind of thing.
Big company running the world.
Yeah. And like, UBI, anything that good or bad. I kind of sense this coming, and I could see that happening in my lifetime to some extent, and I feel like that would be a pretty big thing where it's like, okay, we don't work anymore. We almost like a Star Trek type world. That's kind of maybe more the optimistic outlook of stuff. But I could see that happening, and I could see that happening in like a near lifetime, maybe potentially as well. I could also imagine a very bad version of that too happening. But that I think that might be the next like pandemic level surprise that could come our way.
Just a big shift, basically. In
the
way we know life to be. I mean, that's a pretty hopeful outcome. A UBI type world where people have all their basic needs met without anything else.
Just everyone just makes art all the time, and we have a new cultural renaissance for the earth.
And the UBI is their starter deck, so to speak, and then you can always add stuff on top of it if you want.
Every Tuesday is Pog Day, Yeah. It's just
talking utopia right there.
What about you, Andy? Do you have any kind of like, I don't know, not a solution, but do you have any kind of outlooks on your own topic in terms of like,
it sounds really like kind of down and sad, but it's not that I don't have hope for things. It's that surprise. And I think, what Jeremy is saying is very true. It's kind of the reality of being so plugged in, and that I think without being so plugged in, I might be able to get that sense back. Not having, toddler death whispered in my ear at bedtime certainly would be a big a change. But it's like just your proximity to it, right? It kind of feels like even when you go on vacation, you're unplugging and your brain, I feel like, settles in that environment versus being in your day-to-day grind. And so, I think there's a lot of appeal to that, but it's so hard to fully pull yourself out. And so I don't know, I guess in terms of solution, I just try to be as optimistic as possible, and I welcome surprise. you know, when that heart attack hits, I'm going to be #1 fan. It's like,
it's probably, I don't know the first thing about it, but a lot of people experience surprise again through their children, I think.
Yeah,
you have these uncynical kids come into the world who everything's new and not awful yet.
Well, we raised them to be cynics from day one, so we've already.
Okay, thank gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're realists.
They're already.
We're realists.